Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Real Heroes Show. Corey and Nick with you here as always. And in today's video, we are going to be discussing, with spoilers, what is this, episode 7 of Marvel's What If, which was entitled What If Thor Was an Only Child. Very fun, a little light on its feet episode after some of the horrible, tragic stuff that we've seen so far this season. Nick, how are you today?
Doing well.
Yeah, we've made it halfway through the week. Today's the animation drop of the century.
Big time animation here on Disney Plus.
Yeah, between What If coming out today with episode 7 and the entirety of Star Wars Visions, which we'll be covering in a video tomorrow. We're eating good. I think is the expression that the kids have been using these days. I'm not a kid, so I don't
obviously know. I eat well anyway, but you know.
The shine on the top of my head suggests that I'm not a child any longer. So, so spoilers for this episode. Again, you've been warned. If you haven't seen it, get out of here. Go watch it on Disney Plus. Come back and see us. Nick, what were your general thoughts on this one?
A fun episode overall. Different feel.
Yep.
You know, a seemingly happy ending. We'll get more into that later, but it was a little bit of a conglomeration of appearances and Easter eggs, over the top, as you mentioned, a very robust cast. And I mean, I loved it. You know, it was a different feel than what we've been getting in the prior episodes, especially with the more heavier and somewhat darker themed episodes, in the first 6 episodes. So it's, I liked it. I laughed, a few times. I think, again, the voice cast of these celebrities did a fantastic job in portraying their roles again. Mm-hmm. And, there is this magic in animation, which is always a great time.
Yeah, man. The animated stuff, it lets them do all this weird, wild stuff that they probably wouldn't even think twice about doing in a live action portrayal of these characters. But Viva Las Vegas. that man, great. We've got to set the stage. Thor is an only child in this world or this universe. Odin finds Loki but returns him to the Frost Giants, and he grows into a Frost Giant, and we get probably the most comedic and loosened up Tom Hiddleston MCU performance so far, which I thought was terrific. But because of the fact that Loki is not there to kind of be the foil to his brother, Thor's ego is even larger than it was in the live action stuff that we've seen. He is the clear heir apparent to the throne, but he also likes to get down and party, and he brings the party with him wherever he goes. I loved how the folks on Earth kind of likened his parties to almost like a virus. They were like, the party is spreading. He's everywhere now. They went to France because someone had a jonesing for crepes, and there's just a whole bunch of really, really great stuff in there comedically. Chris Hemsworth, we know he's got tremendous comedic chops, and I think he could read the phone book and be interesting at this point. He was agreed. He was fantastic in this episode. We got to see something that was kind of teased a little bit in Endgame when him and Carol Danvers had a little bit of a stare down at the Avengers compound. We got to see them tussle, which was fun because it's basically the unstoppable force meets the immovable object, and we all saw what came out of that. Just really funny stuff. Natalie Portman showed up, which we know she's back for Thor: Love and Thunder, but no one ever thought that Natalie Portman was going to come back to the MCU, and now she's even in this animated stuff, and she was cool. Great too. It was terrific. I thought on all ends.
I liked the very flirtatious chemistry between Thor and Jane, and again, I think between Chris and Natalie, they did a great job. She even spurts out "I love you" at one point.
That was
I was
funny.
wow,
it was great.
Nat going in, and just seeming very shy at first to speak with him, but Hemsworth lays on the very poetic metaphors. He goes, "Your eyes are very dark, like two stars beating at the edge of a galaxy," and I was like, "Damn,
yeah,
all right." And but same thing between Darcy and Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck, man. Once you go duck, you never go back.
Seth Green coming back for another another episode here this season, and they get married.
What did he say to her later on in the episode? Oh, look who came hobbling back or waddling
Mrs.
back
the
or
Duck.
something.
Yeah, Mrs. the Duck. Like,
oh man,
yeah,
so
it was great. And I like how Thor and Jane get not matching tattoos, but opposite tattoos.
Yes.
Of magic and science.
Yeah. I thought that setup was going to be, so Thor puts everything back together, fixes everything, sits everybody down in front of the chalkboard or whatever.
Right.
I thought Frigga was going to show up and then just like rail into him for getting a tattoo. Didn't happen. I thought it was really funny if like through all that, that's the one thing that genuinely upset her, is that he got a science tattoo.
Yeah, I thought for a second she might point that out, like what is that on your arm, and then he just, oh no, it's fake, it comes off. It just, like talking about like fake tattoos. But yeah, the appearance of Mother Frigga, and just like the whole tone of mothers laying into their sons, and how, again, like I'm sure plenty of us have been in those situations where mama don't play no games, and has been a force of reckoning in everyone's lives. And I wasn't an only child, so but that didn't really stop my mother from from laying down the law when necessary.
Yep.
And at the same time, like, it's very interesting to see in how The Watcher with Jeffrey Wright, explains, without these valuable lessons of having a sibling and having Loki as a brother, like he doesn't get those lessons. So he has this free reign to do whatever he wants.
Right.
Not necessarily whenever he wants, because he could only take advantage of this when Odin was in Odin's sleep.
Yep.
And but at that point, even then, like, Mother goes on a little trip with her sisters,
little girls trip,
for the solstice, and at the summer solstice, as the sun is just exuberatingly shining through my window with the blinds open, and my face is being lit up even more here, much like this episode had my humor lit up.
It was a lighter episode.
It really was, and I think that was needed for this part in the season. Yeah. And again, you can't party it any better like Vegas. And not to divulge into a separate series here, but as Coach Beard from Ted Lasso says, 2 nights in Vegas is acceptable. And I have to watch it again, because I think it just takes the span over one night. But at the same time, like, that was a hell of a night. And
oh yeah,
as
evidenced by Rocket Raccoon being passed out in the sink.
The little rabbit,
the little rabbit.
The callback to Endgame, and I mean, we get S.H.I.E.L.D., I like hilarious also how Fury's trying to talk to Thor, and then you got Taika as Korg running through and just like gives him a concussion because he wants to jump in a pool.
Yep.
I mean,
and also Korg later on in the episode has a pacifier in his mouth.
Yeah.
Why?
On the bridge.
Why?
I don't know if that was like a Taika idea or whatever, but I could see that happening. I really, really could. I feel like that's like a Taika thing to have done, but
he wore the pineapple shirt in Endgame.
That's exactly.
Anything's
right?
possible, right?
Yeah. With the scattering at the end when Frigga's coming and Nebula's like, oh, I think I hear my dad calling, like, just to think like Thanos like is calling Nebula, because it's like a mother to son, daughter to father to daughter sort of call. And
right.
I mean, we get everyone, right? We've got Drax, who throws up on Thor. We've got Mantis,
which they could do that in Love and Thunder, because the Guardians are part of that movie. I feel like
I really hope that happens. Like,
we get a party scene between them all.
Just see Dave Bautista just start yakking on Thor's shoulder would be amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I'd be there for it.
We even got Clark Gregg with Coulson. Coulson's alive, you know.
And Frank Grillo, Crossbones.
Frank Grillo. Yeah, Rumlow. And
he was very upset that they never get to launch the nukes.
Yep. Maria Hill with Colby Smulders is in this. You know, I again, heavy cast. What'd you think about Loki as a frost giant?
Dude, it was hysterical because they played the frost giants to be like the party bros that show up at the frat house and just like cause trouble. I mean, later on in the episode, they literally took a Ferris wheel off of its hinges and just started rolling it down the water. Like they do like the bro handshake, but Thor's hand is only as big as Loki's pinky. All of it. Like he called him his brother from another mother.
Yep.
It had me dying because everything you've seen from Loki, even in the Loki series where he's a little bit less buttoned up, he's still very serious. He's almost like Shakespearean to a fault with the serious dialogue and the way that Hiddleston delivers it. For him to be able to just like completely let loose and be more of a human was really fun. I think out of all the universes we've seen in this show, this is the one that I would want to live in.
Absolutely.
I mean, imagine a party where Yondu and Rocket, Drax, and Mantis, and Thor, and the Warriors 3, or is it Warriors 3?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And the Frost Giants and the Sovereign, and they're all there just partying it up and having a good time. And Captain Marvel has to show up and be, as the Midgardians say, the party pooper.
Like I've also thought it was hilarious how they used is it Louis or is it Lewis?
Oh God, they turned the arch upside down.
The universe's biggest slingshot or something like that. I was like, please make that happen. Like again, it was such a fun episode to just think of things that happen in like that are on Earth, but they could just use in a comedic stance, right? Yep. And I mean, we've got Elvis from Vegas, very popular and well-known thing that marries Howard and Darcy, and I mean, getting tattoos is something that is very cliche, but it happens in Vegas.
It's very Vegas.
I mean, even to the part where you've got Surtur.
Dude, oh my God.
Flirting with Lady Liberty.
He cuts her arm off.
Melts her arm off, but then he repairs it. But just
great. Just
hilarious.
Great.
We got Kree, we got Skrulls. I mean, I love that they didn't really leave a lot of stuff out, and it's great.
Yeah, and a lot of that stuff is like there are people in that party scene that in the proper MCU timeline all fight each other, right? So like the Kree fight the Skrull, but they're all there partying. The Guardians tussle with the Sovereign, but they're all there partying. It was wonderful to see all that and like just see like a kind of happy-go-lucky MCU where the big threat that SHIELD is going after is that the people of Earth are partying too much. It didn't take itself too seriously, which I really enjoyed. I also thought it was really funny. Some people, I don't know if this is intentional or not, but when Captain Marvel first came out, there was like this whole big thing where people were saying that Brie Larson should smile more. And it turned into like this whole men tell women too often that they need to smile more, which is like a thing. I've literally seen it happen from, bosses at work before and whatnot. And in this episode, Thor literally tells Captain Marvel that she needs to smile more. And it just, that felt like just like Marvel being like, the haters, get at the haters a little bit, and just kind of poke and prod.
Yeah.
Stuff that they probably wouldn't do in a movie, but they can get away with in a cartoon. It was great. I loved it. And the end of the episode, well, we need to talk about that, but
so let's say, speaking of Carol Danvers and Captain Marvel, Brie Larson did not reprise her role in this voice actor. And so Alexandra Daniels filled her spot, which I think she did a good job. You know,
Yeah,
it definitely
pretty close. Yeah,
you know, it's kind of the same thing with like the guy who took over as you know, Tony Stark, and the guy same thing for you know, Peter Parker, Spider-Man. I think they both did a good job. So I think you know, it comes down to filling the, you know, that role. It's like saying, hey, we couldn't get Andy Serkis to play, you know, Gollum or Smeagol, but we got, you know, Nick from the Real Heroes show to do it, and it, you know, it's, yeah. I mean, look, I would be obliged to do something like that. Like, so I think they probably feel as maybe as honored to be like, I got to do Captain Marvel, you know, in this series, like, and that the whole fight scene. Or fights between the two was I mean, it was epic, and again hilarious when they get to Stonehenge and they just knock the rocks over.
He just boops it, and it
boop. And it's like, it goes, I don't even know what these rocks do, and it's like, I don't think anyone knows what these rocks do. Like, I will say the other funny thing is when Thor's like, they're fixing everything, he even fixes the Leaning Tower of Pisa, so it's just standing straight up.
Yep.
Like, wow. I thought it was hilarious, but she couldn't move when Mjolnir was placed on top of her.
Which makes sense, because there's only two that we've seen so far. It's Thor and Steve Rogers. So
yeah, and so I thought it was kind of somewhat ironic because of course how it almost ended between the two of them, and it's like, if he would have just kept the hammer on top of her the entire time,
yeah,
she never would have been able to intercept him mid-flight. As Thor's about to slide down,
really funny, the Sydney Opera House.
Yeah, where Chris Hemsworth
where he's
is from.
Yeah,
and again, just the irony. Do you think they would have withstood the nuke? Like, it's where I'm like, I don't think either one of them would have been like, they wouldn't. Neither one of them would have died.
Yeah, it wouldn't have done anything, because
like,
Carol is basically nuclear as it is, and
yeah.
Thor says it in Infinity War, you know, I've lived over 1,000 years, I've killed twice as many, and you know, when the gods are ready for me to go, that's when I'll go. He's not going to go down from a nuke that the plebes on Earth made. Get out of here.
Yeah, and so that's why I was like, it would have been interesting to see that, but of course, Mom shows up, and the whole school scene was great too, and I like how, you know, Carol shows up with the iPad, and it's like, such a small device containing such a
so
vast
much information.
Speaking of which, when Loki drops the phone,
Yo,
it falls so far down and it shatters. It's like,
it shatters.
Yeah.
If this were an Apple TV show, though, it would have shattered.
Right. Exactly.
Like Beard's phone on Ted Lasso. But
right.
So we get to the end, and it seems like it's gonna be a happy ending.
Happy.
Thor and Jane are being all cutesy and shit.
Going on a date.
They're gonna go on a date, and the Watcher's even like, man, isn't this nice? A universe where there isn't peril, existential dread,
right?
A zombie outbreak and apocalypse, and he starts to like turn away a little bit, and then all of a sudden the portal opens up, and there are a bunch of little Ultron bots, followed by Vision Ultron with all the Infinity Stones in his body. And that's our cliffhanger. So
man,
I shared this with you already, but share with everybody else now, like and subscribe, that this is probably going to be the thing that brings all of the different heroes from all of these different universes together.
Yeah.
I think this is the thing that gets the Watcher to interfere.
Yep.
And he takes Captain Carter and T'Challa Star-Lord and Party Thor and whoever else, Doctor Strange Supreme, whatever.
Yeah.
And he plucks them all from their universes to fight this threat, because Ultron was a Avengers level threat on his own in our universe. Now you add in all 6 Infinity Stones, and that's like Mecha Godzilla type shit.
Yeah, it's a very scary thought, because, you know, going from you know, Avengers Age of Ultron, you know, when Tony's saying a suit of armor around the world, and again, that was always a cool thing. I think we had talked about like years ago, like what would have happened if Ultron took over, if he was successful in his attempt to you know, basically create I don't want to say an endless amount, but just an abundance of vibranium, Ultron bots. And once Ultron learns about, and he would have learned about the Infinity Stones, but you think of what he went through to get all 6, and it's almost like, so Ultron basically prevented Thanos from getting the stones, or maybe he
in that universe.
Yeah, right. So again, in kind of a very scary thought to see. Well, we all see how scary Thanos was, but Ultron beat Thanos and took the stones, so he outsmarted him. And then somehow, some reason shows up on this party universe, and I'm kind of curious.
Of course, they take the damn universe that's happy and everybody's having fun, and they go fuck that one up.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious to see like what Ultron's like reasoning behind this would be. Like, if you've already conquered everything in that universe, why show up in this one unless you just want to take over multiple universes? And
yeah, that's my guess. It's like a absolute power corrupts absolutely sort of thing.
Right. Spread the vibranium takeover sort of thing. Yeah. And like, but although inside the TVA, those stones mean jack diddly shit.
As the Russo brothers posted on their Instagram, where it was just kind of like they're holding up the fake gauntlet and they're like womping at it because they don't really mean anything. But yeah, so I think that's probably the thing that's going to unite
everyone together
this whole season, which is cool. Because the way that they had initially presented it was it's a bunch of different scenarios that take place in different universes. And if they do bring them all together toward the end of the season, and it kind of turns into almost like a Illuminati type thing or a Guardians of the Multiverse or something like that, to me would be super cool. And then they can go their separate ways and continue their threads in season 2.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see, if anything was wrong in the universes that they came from will be righted, or if it's just this is how it is. This is what's left over.
Yeah. What if the Watcher makes a deal with Strange Supreme and says, if you come and do this for me, I'll set your universe back right and put Christine back in your life or something? There's a lot of different ways it could go. I'm really fascinated to see what happens. I had the idea, this is completely not really related to this show, only because of the character, but there were rumors that Captain Carter is going to show up in Doctor Strange 2. And I had the thought the other day, what if she shows up, but it's actually the animated version of her, and they like Roger Rabbit it, and she talks to live action Benedict Cumberbatch?
That would be pretty interesting. It would be a first, right?
I mean, it's called Multiverse of Madness. Like, if he's gonna go insane during this one, maybe he will talk to a cartoon. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen no pun intended, but we've seen some strange things in the MCU already. So I don't think it's super far-fetched to include. And again, I was going to say, I think the implications, not only in this season of What If, where literally anything can happen, but the implications, what's coming in the MCU, that spawned from Loki and possibly the Eternals, Far From Home, to Multiverse of Madness, like this stretch of things just spiraling out of control. Again, I don't think it's definitely plausible. So, and I wonder if it would be something like she starts off as an animation, but then something happens and
it turns her
into real life, right?
Yeah. Hey, I'd be all for it. I think it'd be cool as hell. Or even if it's something where it's like, Strange is looking through portals into different universes, and as he's going through, like, he opens up one portal and it's all animated, and he's like,
sees it.
Maybe we should stay away from that one, and just kind of like pushes it over to the side or something. Or Wong tells him, don't go near that one, which means he wouldn't listen, because we saw the No Way Home trailer. Wong says, don't do that, and he's like, go away, Wong.
Right. Yeah. That'd be pretty cool too to see.
The Marvel multiverse is a very exciting idea, and I feel like it's something that if they let it get away from them, could be really dangerous for the storytelling side of things. But I trust the man on the roof with the sniper pinching all the leaks off Kevin Feige himself.
The Punisher.
So, the Punisher. Thanks, Boss Logic. That was good. But
yeah.
So where do you rank this one in the 7 that we've seen so far?
Man, as much as I liked it and enjoyed it, I don't know if it's still better than the Strange episode.
No.
So I want to say it's like number wise, you're looking at maybe like an 8 to 8.5, somewhere within that range. Like I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I think it was probably one of the more favorable episodes to me. So but not like top tier. Like I would give it like maybe like a high B, low A sort of ranking. Like it's not S tier.
Right. Yeah.
But
I think you're right. I think it's in the top half of the episodes that have come out, but I wouldn't say it's like at the top of that list.
No.
I will say it was an episode that was very needed because there have been so many heavy ones. That one that was just like genuinely funny and light on its feet was very refreshing after some of the dread that this season has caused us. They have killed Tony Stark 4 different times in 7 episodes of this show.
It's kind of dark.
It's kind of dark. They also really don't like Vision either. They keep doing him dirty too. And Black Panther, which is really sad considering that Chad is actually dead in real life. But I'd say probably same around like a 7, maybe an 8. Better than some of the other ones, not the best, but still a lot of fun. And I'm excited to see how they wrap it up and how they kind of tie all this stuff together. So that is going to do it for this episode. We'd love to hear from you guys. If you leave us a comment and let us know what your thoughts are, I promise we'll respond. Yes. Even if you're one of those weird spam bots that posts a lot of weird shit in Russian, I'll answer it. I might not make for great conversation, but we'll get to it. If you want to support the channel, you can do so completely for free. All you have to do is like the video, click that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, share with your friends, share with your neighbors, share with your dog. If they can click and like and subscribe, then share it with them. We're more than happy. We'd love for you guys to check us out on social media. We are on Twitter and Instagram at Real Heroes Show. I posted a review of Malignant this morning, so make sure to check that out. We're going to have Star Wars Visions tomorrow. Foundation comes out this weekend. More Ted Lasso, Doom Patrol Season 3, Midnight Mass. We're above our chin at this point. We're almost drowning in content. We're going to bring it all to you, and we're very excited. So please make sure to stay tuned for all of those things and so much more. Until next time, we'll see y'all in the next video.
Peace.